skip through this one mostly.
Huh?
Just skip through this
Yeah,
one kind of
no
quick.
worries, that's fine.